States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call to order Tuesday, February 21st. Roll call, please.
Mayor Anderson.
Here.
Troy Boone.
Here.
Will Wilkie.
Here.
Art Schott.
Here.
Ben Sweet.
Here.
Teresa Swayden. Here. Mike Peterman.
Here. Agenda sent out. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda? I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda as written. Motion by Susie and seconded to adopt the agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is adopted. Minutes for February 6, 2023 were sent out. Is there a motion to approve the February 6, 2023 minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second. Motion by Seeley and seconded to approve the minutes for February 6, 2023. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Visitors to be heard. Mr. Hauser, campground discussion.
Yep, I wanted to bring up the campground again, see if I can move forward and expand it. We had done that before and went through zoning and all that kind of stuff, and then it was decided not to approve it. So I'm just bringing it forward again and expand that thing to the west and fill out the 4 acres over there. We've had more experience with it now. We're losing out on the big campers. I just had one this week that came in brand new, 45-foot gooseneck, big diesel pickup, and we just really can't handle those very well. We have just a couple sites. It's a little hard to get into. If we expand that out there, they'll be for those, the Class A RV diesel pushers that are pulling a trailer with 10 motorcycles in it going to Sturgis. And so those sites out there would be longer, bigger, wider. They'd be able to just pull in, hook up some of the correct side of the campers and make it easy. And then those, we just aren't set up for that very well. That's all there is to it. The infrastructure we would put in, the supply of water, sewer, electrical, we got figured out from previously, so that's all there. And go from there. The reminder I guess I have is that when we do dailies or weekly rates, which is a lot of the Sturgis crowd, that's a higher sales tax. So there's 9.5% sales tax on that, and the majority of that extra 3% is to the city. The cost of it, it's more than it was, of course, when I proposed before, because everything's gone. Probably be in the neighborhood of $300,000 is my guess. The advantages to the city is not just sales tax. One thing we've learned is that these guys that do stay longer, people that stay longer, they buy a lot of groceries and they really stay local. They go to the hardware store, they buy their fuel local. They don't want to travel, so they don't even go to Sioux Falls. They stay in town. And so it's been a boom for the city from the standpoint of the grocery store, the hardware store, parts stores, truck town, fuel, things like that. And so those are some things that have been helpful for here. I just don't want to go through the expense and challenge and hassle that council really doesn't want.
I just got one question. Don't mean to interrupt you. Am I permitted to talk to you? I can ask
Absolutely, ask questions, sure.
Yeah, well, I know you mentioned water, sewer, electric, which is great, sales tax, which is great, site's gotta be bigger, class. I just wanna make sure that we're on the same page as far as if we do anything according to ordinance, with any type of building out there that's done according to the city ordinance. Part of that would probably be, the manhole or the fire hydrants or the street, because if you start running around 45 or 50-foot trucks, I'm not sure exactly how to turn around or how the streets are gonna work or how the proposal's gonna be for you to make that to the city. Are you gonna take care of the street there? Are we gonna,
It'll still all be private, so. it'll
Oh,
be-
right, okay, well, that's.
It's all private.
Yeah, it'll be a different story.
Everything will be private out there, and we'll lay it all out. We have a layout from an engineer, but we can do that again, so.
Right,
The electrical, we had already met with the Mike and had a layout for that. And we have a layout for the sewers and waters.
you got a 3.5 or 3 or 4 inch line right now there, right?
There's a 3-inch line that feeds the campground now, and we'll tee off of that manhole, come to the west, do another manhole, and split it up from there.
That should be more than enough, right, Jeff? I talked to you
Yeah.
on the phone earlier, you said 3 or 4 inch line should be more than enough. Then what about the sewers? Is he equipped out there to put enough sewers in for the expansion there?
So we have a lift station out there now on our own ground that we've already have out there that supplies into a, I don't remember if it's a 6 or an 8, that goes in there.
It's an 8 where it hits over on Sunset and Grandview. It runs at an angle there, kind of comes in between Jeanette and.
Right.
Well, just so we're on the same page, if we get, when you're applying for the permits and everything, that we're up to codes on all the stuff.
Yeah, no,
If at all possible.
they'll have to meet that. There's no way around
And
it.
then there'd have to be a couple hearings, right, Jerry? You said there'd be a couple public hearings.
So I think, we went through the hearings last time, but that's been 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, so. So the sim planning and zoning would start all over again because it was denied last time. So, planning and zoning, you'd hear it back August 9th, and then the council heard it on August 30th of 21, and then we had a couple days where we didn't take, a couple meetings, we didn't take any action on it, then we met out at the campground, so he can give a tour to you guys, and then after that meeting, the second reading was not approved of the ordinance change, so it died there.
Okay, now, the other question, I don't mean to hog all the time, is bigger trailers, single houses, double houses, any houses,
There won't be any houses. This will all be camping. They'll all be RVs.
maybe a storage bin or a garage?
I won't have any of that either.
Okay, all right,
No,
all right.
it'll be strictly campers, fifth wheel slide outs, diesel pushers.
It's all right, it's all right. but we
Some
need
of
more.
those diesel pushers with the trailers we're running 80 foot, so
But we still make 9% tax on the daily tax,
only if it's daily or weekly.
which means in the summertime around Sturgis, we should do pretty good for a month or
Yeah,
two.
yeah, your sales tax revenue to the city will go up. So
And then some of your lots, you said you have all sewer, water,
they'll
electric,
all have
internet,
no internet.
no internet?
Well, we do a Wi-Fi, but
Oh, okay, all right.
most of them have their own satellite dishes. If they're on those big ones, they don't want any trees, so they'll put up their satellite.
And then Jeff, with our sewer and water, we bill him per customer, or we just bill for the whole campsite?
It's just the office meter.
Pardon?
It's just 1 meter reading, that's all he's got right now. I would
Right,
assume
right.
it's the same thing.
So our utility bills now, which in the winter are our highest, not in the summer. Our highest winter bills, if we're occupied, are in the winter.
They leave the water order.
We'll push, but it's not just the water. They're using electric heat because we supply the electricity. They don't want to use propane, of course.
Well, that's
So
good though, helps the city out.
it does. So we're pushing $9,000-$10,000 a month.
I'm glad to hear that. Thanks.
And Mike's already had to, we had to replace the small transformer to the south first, and now he's replaced the north one because it was just too small. And we split up things out there. The other thing that'll happen in these new sites, we're probably gonna go to double 50s. Some of these big ones are now pushing 100 amps that they know, so it'll be twice the size of what we got.
Appreciate that, thank you.
Any more discussion or questions?
I would, like I said, I would urge the committee and the board to look at this pretty well. I'm Carl Webb in town. Been doing construction years for years. It's a high demand anymore because most construction workers have travel trailers that stay in for the summer, which really works pretty good. They don't take much anything from the city or anything. They just pay their bills to go on. I noticed last year we had all the top line people there. I seen 3 or 4 new pickups that was bought in town. I know it was a heavy influence around the Fiesta and the different places for income to them people. Those people spend their money here. We have a project coming this summer from Beresford to the Vermillion exit on Highway I-29, an overlay that's gonna take a big hunk of the summer. I know there's a grain elevator going in down by here a ways, and they're going to let Highway 46 from Beresford to the Iowa line to widen it to 1.1 million yards of dirt and resurface and all that. So we have a big influence and a big need for this, and, because that's the way of the future of these construction workers. That's what they do, is stay in their travel trailers in. And I would like to really see this expansion because of that, and I think over time there'll be more and more work around here that's gonna keep it full. And I can't really see any loss for the city if the campgrounds is putting expenditure of the sewer, the water, electricity herself on it. And at some point, if it ever comes out and lands more valuable or something else, knowing the way things go, well, the campground's easy enough to tear out and put something else in if it ever comes to that point. But it will fill that campground up, and the bigger and bigger, these things are getting bigger and bigger, and a lot of travel on them. So I would urge you to look at it careful and vote to expand it if you can see that.
With that, one thing, it's not just gonna be construction. What we've had staying there is traveling CNAs for Bethesda and other nursing homes. We had the traveling engineer for Amazon when we were up there, building that. Teachers, we've had a couple traveling teachers for some of the schools. We had for a short time, had an associate pastor at the university. I mean, I'm amazed that every occupation has some kind of traveling thing going on. So
Did you have a couple of people building houses around here?
we had quite a few that built houses.
And
Yes.
they came
They
here.
buy a lot or an acreage. We had quite a few, and then they built that, stay at the campground. Or we've had some that were in transition. You know, the new house wasn't done, their other one was sold, so they stayed at the campground for a while. We had one trailer there all summer plus a little bit more, and it ended up, he brought his whole family. So he bought a place in town and needed to remodel it. Was in between selling his place and taking occupancy of this one, set up his camper. He was set, then his daughter, and then he had another son that moved from out of state. They came and stayed in there until they found housing too. One of them was in the area, and the other one we lost out to Sioux Falls. But send me emails, discussion, tell me what you think.
I just got one more question to you, Jerry. If he applies now to have permits or applications, what, 3 months, 2.5 months, 2 months?
He has to rezone first,
Right.
and then there's also gonna be then he's gonna have to get conditional use to operate campgrounds, so all that takes a little bit of time. So probably at least 3 months.
Just
That's
so
why I
we're,
wanted to know.
yeah,
that.
just so we're on the same page, yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
Figure it out. But there's not gonna be any problem with the private road, that you should have enough space.
We're okay on that part. That
All right,
isn't
all right.
an issue.
Just double checking. I just got one other question, Jeff. On the private road, do they have to have a mandatory fire hydrant so many feet?
Well, I'm gonna assume they're gonna want a fire hydrant when he extends that down there. Don't, I guess that would depend on the engineer.
I don't know. He didn't have one on there, but probably should have one back there.
No, I don't know, even a 3-inch line, Carl,
It's not
you
gonna
like, that probably wouldn't work very good even on a fire truck. 4 inches about as, you need that pretty much to run a fire truck off, but not that it can provide some water, but it wouldn't be much.
Seems to me the one on the east side of town's just got a 4-inch.
Yeah, we've got quite a few 4 inches in town.
It does create a problem as far as supply. When we had the fire on the lumberyard, that was an issue.
Well, where's the nearest fire hydrant around there? Close by, half a block?
Oh, there's one at the end of the drive. Is there one at the end of the drive there?
Is there? Yeah.
Well, as long as there's one that's close by, it should maybe do enough. I don't know what to check the ordinance.
We've got holes that we lay out, 6-inch holes that we lay out in certain parts of town that we train to do, so. In the event they didn't have enough capacity on that particular hydrant, they could run some of it in off the hose that we have.
Just double checking.
How far can you go with that hose?
I don't know, Tars had it all laid out when, if we ever had something down around the downtown area, because we got some 4 inchers, so.
I appreciate your time, coming, Davis.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Department head reports. Chief Shirk.
Hey, just making sure you guys can hear me.
Yep.
Okay, first thing I wanna go over is just, I got a part-timer that applied, was a Vermillion officer, since retired at the latter end of last year. I'm just looking to keep his certification to be able to help fill shifts. His name is Chet Mosier, he lives in Vermillion. Looking to start him at the general $25 an hour rate for part-time police officers.
So I'll make a motion to approve that.
Shall I make a motion to hire part-time hire for the police department as church stated for $25 per hour, part-time?
Second.
Motion by Shot and seconded to authorize the hiring part-time Chet Mosier at $25 an hour for the police department. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Alright, next thing I want to talk about is our police vehicle fleet for next year. I want to start the process of starting to get another vehicle outfitted for 2024. What my plans are is what I want to do is sell the Crown Vic immediately. That's one that's on our police fleet. And our Dodge Ram is currently being used right now by an officer that's in the academy. And then sell that. And what I'd like to do is somehow retain that money to use for the funds for 2024 to purchase a new police vehicle. I haven't looked at anything to the state bid. I will say that when we went through Carl's last year out of Des Moines, that went pretty smooth. I'd kind of reach out to those folks and see what they have for options for police vehicles for us. So just kind of getting rid of some of our fleet, keeping some of our fleet fresh, and just want to talk about that. I want to get the ball rolling for 2024. So any questions about that or concerns or comments?
We looking at another full-size SUV, Mike?
I don't know what we're looking at, so I kind of wanted to do a car, but there's Dodge Charger. They don't make those anymore for patrol cars. I know some of the other vehicles were way higher than the Tahoe, so the Tahoe was our most viable option last time we did it. I felt like it came in at a pretty reasonable price. We purchased that one for $37,000, and then the upfit for it. There's some things that this new vehicle wouldn't need that we bought the first time. Basically just trying to get some feelers out there just to get my options. And if there's somebody opposed to us hitting the ground running, so that way in 2024 we can get this going. Just want to hear those concerns.
You have a second budget?
For 2024.
Right.
The question was if you had money in the budget, and I said no, it'd be put in your 2024 budget.
Correct, yep. I just want to start working on it now because I know the need for patrol vehicles, you just can't get them. So if I can get my hands on one and basically reserve it, we can be ready to go in 2024 once January hits and we have a fresh budget.
I got a question for you, Church. Can you like put an order in to see what's available like now for September, October, where you can actually get it and then pay for it like after January if it's available? Because you said you're gonna sell the Crown Vic or something, you could put down a retainer to hold it till January, but we could still get it this year, but not pay for it till January.
So Carl's, the outfit we went through last year, they just needed a verbal confirmation that we wanted that specific vehicle, and then they held it for us.
Right,
That's all they needed is just a verbal confirmation. They need no money down, anything like that. So, I will look at the state bid also, just to see what they have. I know our issue is the last time we bought it was delivery time, anywhere from 50 days to a year. And Carl's down in Des Moines had product, on site that we could obtain. So,
Yeah, I'd say just keep us apprised of what you're finding out as you find stuff out.
sounds good.
And Michael, I don't think there's any problem with once you sell the excess fleet, we can maybe put that into South Dakota Fit and earmark it for the police department for future purchases. One question though I do have, is there a need for our department to ever really have more than 2 fleet vehicles? So I guess the second part of that would be, once you get a new vehicle in 24, would we sell the old Tahoe that we currently have?
I think we need a bare minimum of 3, and there's a couple variations here. We ran into an issue last week where we needed all 3 patrol vehicles and we only had 2. I won't get into details on that. It's just we had a big case going on and we were going everywhere. And then furthermore, if we touch base on the school resource officer grant that we're going to work on this year, that 3rd vehicle could fall right into that school resource officer position, and we wouldn't have to purchase a new vehicle. So I think a bare minimum of 3 would be sufficient for our department. So yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. You did a great job.
Ready for the next one?
Yep.
Okay, so on, let's see, February 3rd, we received a bill from the Sioux Falls Area Humane Society. You guys know that we have a contract with them. Some occupants at 207 North 6 in Beresford here are remodeling their house, and the electrician there found 3 bats inside the wall. They were live bats. I think she was given some bad information. The electrician basically said that these can be brought to the Sioux Falls Area Humane Society to get tested for rabies at no charge to the homeowner. Since the Sioux Falls Area Humane Society has a contract with us, that's not a free testing, and we've been charged $209 for the testing of these 3 bats. I talked with one of the managers at the Humane Society, who basically said that, well, since you have a contract, we know we're going to get paid from the city, so we're going to bill the city instead of the homeowner. Since that time I've talked to her, they have submitted 5 more bats for rabies testing. So we're looking at probably another $300 and some, which is going to blow my animal budget, which is only $350 for 2023. In the past, what we have done is invoiced, I believe Elaine has invoiced the homeowner for the rabies testing, and I know it took some time and it was paid. I did reach out to the homeowners who said that, well, we were told this is a free service, we shouldn't be responsible for it, but I don't see why this is a city of Beresford issue for a person that owns a house that has a pest problem, why we should be paying for it. So I'm just making sure we're on the right page by invoicing these members of Beresford that bring animals in for rabies testing. Now I understand if a dog bites somebody and there's an investigation of a vicious animal, that should be the responsibility of Beresford, but we should not be responsible for someone's pest infestation.
Is there a way we can send the bills back? And how could they invoice us for something that we didn't approve?
Is it?
Because we have a contract with the city of Beresford, or with the Sioux Falls Area Humane Society.
That contract is for housing animals, right?
I'm sorry, one more time, Mike?
Dogs and cats?
I said I thought that contract was for them to house animals for us long-term if we can't keep them here in town.
I didn't look through, I haven't had a chance to look through the contract and what it says about bats or what have you. Maybe that's something I can look at when I get back. I just don't know why this isn't our problem.
Well, your lady Jerry said they read it, there's nothing about bats.
It just says work with law enforcement with sheltering of animals which have been taken into custody by citizens and referred to the city for handling, so.
And work with law.
So why were they tested for rabies?
I guess that's just kind of a normal thing that they do when someone catches a bat in their house. They want to make sure it doesn't have rabies. If they have small children or animals that the bat could be bitten by, that's why they're tested for rabies.
Yeah, but would that be the city's liability?
I would say we go by what the contract we signed with them says.
Yeah.
If it's for the housing of animals, then send the bill back to them. If it says that it's for specifically for rabies testing, well then.
Does it sound like they took the easiest course of action, which was, we got a contract, let's just bill them because.
Yeah, we're modifying the
Because they
contract.
live in Beresford, we're sending them to Beresford. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's not legal.
I mean, to me, it's like getting a medical bill for somebody else.
They won't do it if they go to court.
I think we should try to talk to the Humane Society and have them reissue the bill to the person who brought the bad pups.
So
If
they
that's,
paid it,
who did?
the homeowner.
Oh, they did
They
pay the
did
bill?
pay it, yes.
But there's 5
But
more.
there's more coming.
You know, who's telling them to go to the, Humane Society for the testing? That person can't be telling them that.
So their electrician told them that they do this all the time. And then also the Humane Society told them this is a free submission for rabies testing. So I called back up there and I asked them about the validity of it, and they said, no, we never told them it was free. We just told them that the city would be charged for it. So the homeowners are not happy about it. I mean, I understand they were given bad information. I just don't see why this is our responsibility. So.
Can we have our attorney look it over and submit a letter to the Humane Society saying this is what our contract says with you and we're not liable?
It just sounds like maybe they were given some bad information by an electrician, so.
Bill the electrician.
Yeah. So, I just wanted to put some feelers out there on that one and just, this is the second one we've had in my 4 years. I believe Elaine said the first one took some time to get paid, but it did get paid. But it stinks because it comes out of my budget and then it flops my budget upside down, and it shouldn't be that way. So
you said the homeowner did pay the first bill, so that didn't come out of Mike's budget then?
It did,
Oh, it did?
yes.
So if they, okay, wait a minute,
So it comes out of Mike's budget,
right,
and then I'll reverse it and put the two.
you'll put the money back in, okay.
With interest?
No, Art. I think that this is something that you and I need to talk with them, and if the homeowner is of their own choosing going up to them, that's on them. It's our contract, my understanding is that's for us to exercise, not for every.
I don't think we had any idea until we got an invoice that we might.
no, we did not.
I mean,
That's the first thing I looked at to see if we had we didn't have any call for service on it, so that was the first thing I looked for. Then I reached out to the Humane Society and they told me the situation. And I said, well, a little heads up would probably be a good thing for us so we know what we're doing, or what we're looking for.
There's a lot of houses in town with bats, and if we start taking every bat goes to Sioux Falls.
That's like snakes or
Absolutely.
pests or mice or anything else. Can you work with them and figure out how to get that reversed?
Yeah,
We'll get the homeowners to.
Yeah, we'll get Tom to look at
reimburse
this and have him send a letter, I think. Okay. Just saying we can't take every reptile or every animal in town if you're gonna start. The next thing they're gonna be taking dogs from out the country.
Is he keeping bats up there?
No. Like I said, we never knew about it until we got a bill.
Okay.
So Mike has to address that and find out why they're sending us a bill for bat testing. So.
We'll address it, Mike.
Okay, perfect. Excuse me. The last item on my list, so last year, so we have two Remington 870 shotguns that are basically, we don't use shotguns anymore. We have M16s in our patrol vehicle. So then we're converted to a less lethal impact munition. Basically what that means is they shoot beanbags. There's certain criteria that needs to be met as far as like an orange stock, an orange butt, to signify it as a less lethal shotgun. But due to the budgetary constraints last year, we didn't have the money for the ammunition to buy for it. Well, this year's a new year. I budgeted for that. We have the ammunition. I wrote a policy that pertains to the use of the less lethal shotgun. I had City Attorney Freeberg, I can't see him on the camera, I'm not sure if he's there. He looked it over, we made a couple tweaks to it, and then I resent it to Jerry for you guys to review. As soon as this policy, you guys accept this policy, myself and Sergeant Meinzer are already trained and certified on the use of less lethal impact munitions. We'll get the other ones certified and get them shooting some rounds downrange, and they will be put in use as soon as this is approved on by you guys. Is there any questions you have on the policy or the shotgun itself?
Mike, were the 12 gauges used when you do any breaching with?
No.
No, you got other breaching tools.
Yep.
They weren't factored in any part of your operation.
I'm sorry, one more time, Eli?
They weren't the previous 12 gauge with the normal ammunition was not factored into your police operations?
No.
Okay.
No, and with this less lethal impact munitions, we could breach windows with it. We're gonna, well, hopefully not use it, but we can utilize it for more things as far as breaching windows and stuff like that. So. Part of the policy, as you guys probably read, is we removed all live shotgun rounds from the police department. There is no longer a single round in the police department to safeguard us from someone, loading the wrong ammunition in there and possibly using deadly force when they meant to use less lethal force. So that's already been an action that has been taken by me. That's about it. So if anyone else has any more questions?
You need a motion on that tonight?
So you can't fire actual live ammo out of these guns?
You can. You can fire that. That's why all live ammunition was removed from the police department, all the patrol vehicles, all the police officers' bags. And it's strictly going to be, there's a policy on how many rounds can be loaded in the ammunition or in the chamber of the shotgun, how it's to be stored, how it's, and that's all outlined in the policy here. So,
okay.
Just to safeguard us, just to make sure that we don't have an accident. So,
Where did you get the policy, Mike?
myself and Sergeant Meinzer wrote the policy.
Did you get it from Kalia or no?
No.
Kalia, law enforcement agency. What's that? What's Kalia?
Yeah.
Good, certified.
Certifying.
Oh, certified agency for law enforcement.
Yeah.
Do we have time for Freeberg to look at this, Jerry, or what?
Yeah, he said he did.
He's already.
Freeberg okayed it? City attorney okayed it?
Yep, so the first draft was sent to the city attorney. Mainly just some grammatical things were changed. And there was one item that was taken out that was basically an obvious statement that probably didn't need to be in there as far as cover and concealment when using a less lethal impact. It's the same thing that you would do if you were going to shoot your service weapon. Obviously you want to be in a concealment and cover area. But that was all that was changed. Tom said it looked really good.
So can we make a motion tonight then, Jerry? Or hold on a second. Jerry, do we normally approve internal policies?
We don't, not that I'm aware of. We've never brought any of these to the fore. Mike, you have never brought any of this to the council before, have you? That I'm aware of.
No, I haven't. So I just wanted to let you guys, and I don't know if it was approved by council or what, I just wanted to make you guys aware of it, that I did We did write the policy manual. It's been confirmed by our city attorney, and it's going to be put in place. I guess if you guys don't vote on it, we're going to put it in place right away then.
We have a police policy manual that he has and keeps on file, so this will just be added to that.
That's fine.
Yep.
I think it's okay to bring it up to you guys so you know what he's doing, and what some of the options you are, especially if the public has. Why won't we have the ability to use these lethal weapons? Well, now you know we do have those, so.
Yep.
Cause this is no different than the taser policy.
No.
I mean, you know what I mean? We didn't
yeah.
approve any of that. We don't approve, you know, your policy on off-duty anything. So, I mean.
Well, I'm pretty sure I brought the taser policy up at a meeting. Basically the same thing that city attorney Tom Freeberg had looked over and gave his blessing. So just to let you guys know, we putting a policy out there that's crazy.
Looks good, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Next up, Mike Anderson.
Gary wanted me to give an update on our outage we had on Valentine's Day. Shortly after lunch, somebody called in to Gary saying we had a pole on fire in Meyer's backyard. So that first picture shows kind of what it was when we got there. We had to kill power so we could put the fire out on the pole. So it took a pretty good chunk of town down for a little while. Got the fire put out. We did some switching and cut some jumpers to try and get as many people back on as we could. And then, then the second picture shows, we had to take that burn cross arm down and dropped all the phases across the street, rebuilt it all. The pole, we weren't able to change the pole out without a really, really long outage. So we found a large piece of steel that the street department had laying around, and we kind of braced it up, covered that burn spot up, put a new cross arm up, put all the phases back up. We think that the insulators there in that center phase, there was a crack in them, which you can't see. Well, with all the rain that morning, we figured, tracked over, got that bolt hot and started that pole on fire. So yeah, we got that fixed later that night. It's a pretty large Band-Aid we put on it. Not sure how long it's gonna last, but if it makes it through this week, that'll be a real test tomorrow. It was pretty windy that night after it happened. We had gusts over 50 that night, and it made it through it. So cross my fingers, hope that it makes it through this week. But that last picture, that map, I started talking with Jerry. Back in the day, Jay had started some work on a project down there on South 7th Street, the switch that everybody wants moved out of that vacant lot there. Does serve a purpose. Feeds it, 3-phase comes into there, then it feeds the homes around the curve, and then we actually have a spare pipe buried up to where the cart path crosses right by Eli's house. We did that for future to expand up and tie in with a different circuit up behind the football field. So the switch is behind the football field in that box I kind of drew in there. And then the solid red line is where we have pipe already up to that cart path crossing. And it never got done because we could never get the road that's supposed to go through there. Water and sewer platted, so we never knew where to go. We checked with Pat, with Banner, and the road has been platted now, and the water sewer is at 60%, I think. So if we could get kind of do an emergency, work to hire a contractor to dig that in the frost, and then we can finish that pipe. Should have pipe here at the end of the week. trucks don't get held up. And we got the cable in hand to do it. It's gonna have to get done for when we change that pole out in spring. You know, otherwise, these same amount of houses are gonna be out. But with this done, and we can kind of reroute power and keep that outage to hopefully nobody at all, maybe a couple of.
So if you, I think you told me this, right, but remind me, if you put this in, then would anybody be affected when you take that pole down? To replace it, or?
We could do a few more things in the spring before we change it out.
Okay.
Some underground work will have to get done over behind Newmars and over to Butch Farley's across the road. You know, the biggest ones would be the campground and those homes on the south side of Sunset that are coming off of that pole. So that would be the biggest challenge, to do some work to keep them on before we change it. But I don't want to change the pole out. I'd like to just leave everything on it because that's got pretty sure that the cable TV is coming off that and the internet is all coming off that. And then we have one of our AMI collector meters pulling all the data into people's electric meters in. So there's a lot going on in that pole. So I'd like to just underground it behind Deb Christensen's house over to Butch's. So then we can get rid of that stretch.
But you'd leave the pole, portion of the pole at least to help contain the rest of that stuff.
Yeah. And then take the 3-phase that goes back to the campground, drop that into a switch.
Have you gotten bids on this?
Not that part, but this new stretch over on South 7th.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We got prices from 2 contractors a day. One was one came out at 10,000, and another contractor said they do it for 5,400. So.
You're just gonna have them dig it, you guys are gonna do all the.
We're gonna install it, yeah. We have a pipe, then they're gonna fill it back in. So. Just kind of let you know that's kind of what the plan is. Wasn't expected, but we probably need to do it to prevent that lengthy outage when that tank comes.
Okay.
And then hopefully in the spring we can get on it right away.
Does he need approval from us to do this, or?
No, I think we got most of the budget, so.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll be ordering more stuff to replace everything that he's using, but luckily we have this on hand.
the only problem with power cable, I'm gonna use a good portion of what I have in stock. And lead times they're into 2024 for replacement. So I'll probably go ahead and order it now.
Yep.
And then just put it in my budget for next year.
He's gonna have to pay for it until it comes, right?
Right. So yeah, we're probably looking at May or June of next year to get payment.
Okay.
So.
Sounds good.
Just like when the power went out the second time, what was that? Because you guys moved
When
out.
it came back on, so before we turned everybody back on, we cut the jumpers on the 4-way stop on 13 going south. So then we were able to get everybody back on. Most of Sunset and Grandview was back on. Then when we shut it off the second time, we had to connect those back together. So we got the industrial circuit separated, got them on, and then shut that circuit off so we could splice everything back together that we cut. So, and then we had truck problems there when we had to do that, so well, went a little longer than we thought it was gonna, because we were down to trucks. So we got that fixed next day, we're good to go. So.
You had to turn the power out for the fuel leak mitigation east of town, correct?
No, we didn't.
Oh.
That was all southeastern.
So that didn't affect town?
That didn't, just getting to the sub, because all the traffic was backed up over there, and I had to get to the sub to get the power.
Because people in town were speculating that one was complicating the other.
No, because it was all happening at the same time.
Yeah.
You know.
Busy day.
Yep. I know the southeastern, they have to fill power out there for that.
Yeah.
We got a massive hole out now.
Yeah.
Right. questions? Thanks, Mike. Finance report.
In your council packet is the January financials. We didn't really have any out of the ordinary expenses. We just had the two subsidies of the Baseball Association for $10,000 and the PRCE for $27,500 that were paid out in January. We also paid Premier Pyrotechnics for the 4th of July fireworks, $3,500. So that's in the works. And then the South Dakota Municipal League Work Comp renewal was also in January. That was $38,726. On February 7th, I received an email from South Dakota Fit, and they were letting us know that they were offering a daily rate of 4.178% as of February 6th. So Jerry and I visited, and I moved 1.5 million from the electric department into South Dakota Fit and 1.5 from the telephone. And then 600,000 from the gross receipts and 400,000 from the second penny into the South Dakota Fit. I did check with them prior to see like if we needed the funds back. If I reach out to them by 10 o'clock in the morning, they can get the funds back to us in the same day. So it's hopefully we will see some good interest come around for you guys. And
I think you guys remember about a year ago we were talking about it almost cost us money to put it into FIT.
Yeah.
Or we're getting one tenth of 1%. So we were seeing on $2 million, about $3 million, maybe $100 a month. So if this is, we're anticipating if we can keep that in there and they keep that rate, it could be upwards of $200,000 plus.
And does that fluctuate? How often?
It's a daily mover. It's kind of a money market account. That way we're not tied in. We can tie it into a 3-month or 6-month CDs. But
at what rate?
well, there was a 3-month at 4.56 to 4.61%.
Geez, I'd almost say lock half of that down on a 3-month CD at that rate.
As long as we don't have to touch it, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So we will lock these, and our policy says that we can move it around as need be. But Elaine and I wanted to make sure you guys know that we are taking a look at those rates. We do watch that as it moves around to see where we can put the money and get the best return on it. And,
Watch it.
I think a lot of us don't like to see the rates go up from our own personal deal, but it means we have some money that we can put aside. It makes it a lot more. It's kind of exciting to see what happens on a day-to-day basis compared to where we're at. So.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Lock some of it down on a 3-month CD?
Well, how much you need for your stuff? You don't have too much, do you? 10, 20, 30,000 or something, you said for the whole week dog and
I'm fine for now.
He still has plenty.
Yeah.
It's good.
I don't think it's a terrible idea to, like you said, petition on some of it.
Yeah.
And I can reach out to our, Angie Stillwell is our representative. I can reach out to her and see.
The 600 penalty might be if we do draw it out earlier, if we just lose all the interest or if there's anything else on that. So,
Well, if you could take $750,000 and lock that down for 3 months and get an extra, I mean, that adds up.
Well, can I reach out to her and see what looks good and then visit with Jerry and we make the decision?
Hopefully the medicine going to grow up a little bit. That's kind of one reason we didn't want to really lock it in at that.
You think it's going to keep going?
Well, they were just letting us know that things have really changed over the last couple of weeks. So
I was able to take advantage of it within a day of her.
so we moved it as fast as we could, and it's
Okay. Yeah, look it over and
It's a good
just
email.
kind of let us know.
So that is all I have.
Thank you.
I got a question. Let us know or confer Jerry and see.
So they can make a decision, but just let us know what they decide.
Right. Then make the decision. Shall I make a motion for January financial report?
Second.
Motion by Schott, second to accept the January financial reporting for discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Thanks, man. Ballfield edition, Gary.
yeah. I included banners, bid tab results there for you guys to take a look at. And I don't know, Kathy, we probably won't read all of these, but maybe just who the bidders were and their grand total. But we did have 4 bids that we opened. Most of the bidders were here, had a chance to visit a little bit with them. So we have bids ranging from a low of $1,745,700 up to a high of $2,229,435.15. And we have Parkway Construction is based out of T, and the engineers have done some checking on them to make sure that they can do this job, and they have recommended that we go ahead and authorize Parkway Construction at $1,745,700 and award the bid to them.
I can make a motion to award bid to Parkway Construction for $1,745,700.
Second.
Motion by Swagen, seconded to approve the Parkway bid in the amount of $1,745,700. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
One thing we asked, of course, we're alternates also, and they have an alternate for a dugout, pre-manufactured dugout. And for those of you guys, I didn't bring a copy, but he had some copies of what they looked at, like compared to what the wood ones were. There wasn't a big difference, but there's quite a bit of cost difference. It's 190, or excuse me, it's 20. Let's see, the price is $24,000 per unit as compared to number 75, $6,000 per unit. So if we wanted the pre-manufactured dugout, it's $192,000 compared to $48,000. So it's almost $150,000 difference for those. I don't think we have to make a decision on that right now, but it's something to think about. And the other thing that we had talked about was tension fabric shade structures, which are similar to what we have at the swimming pool. Right now, we don't have any of them in the bid. We would probably add 4 of them, I believe, is what we talked about doing, at a cost of $16,500 a piece. And I think that would be something that would benefit us, especially for those that are sitting under the bleachers, and protect the people that might have their back to what's going on. So, again, we don't have to make motions on them right now, but I think it's something to consider.
How big are those?
I think they're 24 foot wide, so they'd be about the same width as the bleachers.
Okay.
And then they cover the whole bleachers, so 24 by 12 or something like that, maybe a little bit bigger than that. I should probably figure that one out. But anyhow, so we got that as an option too.
On those dugouts you were talking about, could you get us pictures of the differences?
Yep, I will.
Yeah, they like like concrete or something?
No, they're more of just it's all metal type stuff. Looked like to me, if I remember right, metal, and then the package type of a thing. But it doesn't look a whole lot. To be real honest, it doesn't look a whole lot different. It maybe last a little longer, I guess. But
Yeah, if we have visuals,
yeah,
see what
I'd have to take a look at them again. I can't remember exactly, but I'm sure there's somebody behind Mike here. But we'll dig them out here later. So I did put another estimate together for you, just kind of a cost estimate of what we got bid out so far and what our costs are going to be moving forward, so we can kind of look at some of these niceties now. And some of the things that we've already decided on the restroom concession building. That's $306,555. The ball field lighting, we ordered that through Musco, which is $260,000. That's only for 3 fields, however, right, Mike? So, I mean, if we wanted to add that to the 3rd field, which we've already got lights on, we've got replacement bulbs for that could last some time. We think that'll be enough, because we don't know how many of the high school games are going to be played later at night, but if they are, we do have lights out there right now, and they do work, so we can always look at that as an option. Storage shed, obviously, just for some of the materials that we'll have at the new mill fields for sure. Scoreboards, I'm working with one of our local banks maybe to help pay for some of those, so I've got $30,000 budgeted for that, and I'm getting some cost estimates from Electronics and another provider. So we should have that.
How many scoreboards are you doing for all the fields?
All of them would have new ones.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And they'd be like the handheld remotes?
Yep, yep. Yeah, and the ones that we're looking at, they're not real fancy, it's just gonna be innings,
Yeah.
score, pitch count,
Yep.
outs. But they're big enough, we want them big enough so that you can see them pretty much anywhere around the field,
Yep.
so that's probably more that I'm concerned about than all the other stuff you could add, who's batting number and all that stuff, because just to find someone that would be able to run it and keep up to date on it would be tough to find sometimes, so. We're gonna still get the pedestrian bridge, I think Mike talked about building that across the creek,
Yeah.
one side to another, so.
We were gonna wait till the concrete,
Yeah.
so we knew where.
And that's just materials mainly, because these guys, they do the welding, they do all that. Some bleachers, I got a quote coming in for some of them from, the same guy that's doing the scoreboards. We'd estimate about 36,000 for those. And then the benches, he's also gonna give me an updated quote for all the benches, and those will be the bench, we need 8 of those, and that's with the shelf back, so that you can put all your gear, it doesn't have to lay on the ground all the time. So the kids would have a place to put their stuff, rather than tripping over it as they come in and out. We put yellow corrugated pipe on the top of all the chain links out there. We built me at 6 foot, so I don't know how important it is, but they, you know, the kid could still reach up there with his arm and maybe cut it or something. We're planning on still doing the turf grass seeding. You know, Greg Bates was our guy to do that. I think he'd come back and do that for us later in the fall if need be. If not, we can always look at another option there too. I included the bid that we just got and approved here a little bit ago. We almost got all of our design, engineering, construction is pretty well done. That was $117,500, I believe, and Elaine had a contract for that, so we're wrapping that up right now. And Banner will be providing some, Banner and Confluence will be providing updated estimate for services that they will perform during the actual construction, administration, surveys, shop drawings. They have to approve all the drawings and staking inspections and all that kind of stuff that goes on. I just estimated 100,000 after I did talk with them a little bit about it. And we can kind of scale that back a little bit, but I think you want to make sure you have somebody out there that we can trust that knows what's going on. At least an inspection at least once a week, or Confidence just in Sioux Falls. That's not going to be as bad. And Banner's got people that work on that stuff out of Sioux Falls now too.
So all told, we're at 2.6.
Yep, real close to that.
And we bonded 3, so
That's our construction fund, yep.
Got a little bit of money to play with yet, but that's good to see.
Yeah, so it looks like we're heading on the right track on it anyhow.
And they would break ground as soon as baseball season's
Yeah,
over?
yeah, those guys said that they'd be going as soon as, well, they're gonna start with the other fields, 3 fields.
Oh,
first.
right,
Yeah.
okay.
And then once we're done at the other, the softball kids field, then they'll start. So probably early July, I would guess, with that one. So it does add a little more challenges for them, because now they might have to bring some new equipment back and forth, but it works out better for us, so.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yep.
The equipment shed that's on there, is that primarily for equipment out there to take care of the fields, or is?
It could be both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right now, where we store a lot of the baseball and softball equipment is less than optimum.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it'd be nice to have a shed where we could, because if we're keeping, equipment to drag the field, keep field
Chalk.
maintenance and chalk.
That's the big nasty thing, yeah.
This guy buys, I think, 2 pounds of chalk.
We might want to go bigger than what we have here, probably, then I'm thinking, especially if you're gonna have a tractor and stuff in there, or the drag,
Yeah.
whatever you're dragging it with.
Yeah,
The school built a building for about 80,000.
the one that's on the north, or excuse me, southeast side of the football field.
70 or 80 is what I was told.
So we're just gonna have to work on that a little bit, see, make sure we have a spot for it.
So the batting cages aren't included in it?
It is.
No, it is. Okay, I didn't see that on there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, they were fairly expensive, if you look at that, they were.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, there's a line item on there in like the micro font. It's a double barrel, so it's 2 lane, which is nice because you can actually have 2 teams going at the same time, because you're gonna have tournaments where there's gonna be a bunch of kids, and a lot of teams have gotten used to going to tournaments now using soft toss or something like that, but won't necessarily destroy the fences or the chain link, but they can hit in the nets, individually brought nets versus using the full cage. But that would be nice, because that would give both.
And I guess our Parkway was at 34,000 for the cages.
Okay.
That was a total bid, so I hope they realize it was 2. The other guys are about double that.
Yeah.
So it's 1 each. It was supposed to be a double, so.
Yeah.
The engineer's estimate though matched.
Yeah, that's the engineer's asking that much, so. The guy that's doing our bids for some of that stuff I was talking about, scoreboards and stuff, he's the one that's supplying all the stuff, a lot of that stuff, the parkway, the batting cage, some foul poles, bases, some of the other stuff that's on there, so.
So once this is,
They're out of the,
once this is approved, then it's locked in, right? They can't come back and say, oh, this costs us.
no, that's what we did, so we had an engineer double check all the numbers and make sure that they understand it, but I mean, one of their numbers is very low. They're gonna be getting, some clay from our rubble site, and, Jeff put them $5 a yard, but then they have to get their own equipment to move it and everything else, and then they have to place it. Well, most of the other guys are close to that $19 a yard, so there's a lot of clay to move, so.
Yes.
Which benefits us both ways, we can pay something for it, and they dig a hole for us at the rubble site, so it's kind of a win-win for us, but, they weren't clear on the bid docs. I mean, they had questioned Pat and his crew on this stuff pretty regular, so they were very comfortable with it. So
Yeah.
they can't really back off at this point in time.
Do we need to approve anything?
Yeah. We haven't approved it.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Sorry.
New business.
I'm the only one here that can write a check and help pay for this.
Yeah, right, they did that, yeah.
I'm where
So
you're
it's always
getting your
easy.
information from.
Part-time hire at the library, what do we got, Jane?
So I had a few applicants and I interviewed 2 people and I'd like to make a recommendation for Jennifer Clever to hire her at librarian wage of $15.30 an hour.
Should I make a motion to hire part-time hire at the library as James stated for dollar amount?
She does have an early education background, elementary degree, so if she works out well, I hope, I expect that she will, with kids programming and working with the kids. Then I probably will be coming back to ask her to move into children's librarian scale a year out of this year. So at the time that I advertised, I wasn't sure if I would get anybody with that experience, and so,
She from town here?
she was
What's the last name here?
Clever, C-L-E-V-E-R.
Second.
Motion by Shot and seconded to approve part-time hire of Jennifer Clover at the rate of $15.30 per hour at the library. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all fair say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Soil boards.
We have a message from our engineer up the banner there, Krista, and they have secured some quotes to do some soil borings at the Sager site, which is the site where we're actually going to put the piece of equipment that is crucial to what we're doing out there for the new wastewater plant. So if you guys can read it all, basically quick summary is one of them bid $4,500, the other one bid was for $47.97.30. So we've used Geotech on many projects over the years. They do a good job. So Krista wanted you guys to approve Geotech for $4,500 to do the soil borings for the Sager site, S-A-G-R site.
Shall I make a motion for the soil bearing proposal for wastewater treatment plant as Jerry Simon stated that we're gonna hire
Geotech.
Geotech at $4,500. Was recommended.
Motion by Shot and seconded to approve the Geotech bid in the amount of $4,500. Any further discussion?
What are they testing?
Just the soil for clay amounts, it's too soft, too hard, whatever they need in order to bring additional gravel, whatever it is to the site. So
Okay.
it just gives them an idea what they're working with so that they don't have to try to guesstimate once you go, when you're doing the bids, they're gonna estimate you're gonna need this much filtered or this much taken out in order for it to work right, so.
Okay. Thank you.
No further discussion, all fair say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. South Dakota Good and Healthy Community Grant Letter of Support.
Let's see. Staff staff is we're working on a grant for some items that would be placed out and around our new baseball fields. Just kind of can't remember exactly what they are, but he's got about $22,000 to create a slow burn fitness course to be placed at the new youth baseball, softball fields. They're designed for users of all fitness levels, abilities, and ages. Fitness areas feature products that allow the user to train upper body, core, lower body, aerobic fitness, and balance. $22,000. They also like to get some other stuff. It's teen adult fitness units to be placed at strategic points of our community hiking and biking trail. Package is perfect for parks and trails, featuring multi-stations for full body workout. Great way to bring your community outdoors for exercise. They combine high quality durable products with research from industry leading professionals to create a flexible outdoor fitness solution for your community. $70,000 there, so I would assume that'll be somewhere along our walking path through the parks, the golf course area. And there's quite a bit of the grant is for instructors and some training. Instructors and training materials is $26,700, and I think that's everything else. So total of $118,700. So we created a letter of support to move the project forward, and you guys are okay with that. I just gave Nathan a copy of that just so that you are aware that we're applying for the grant. So I guess I just asked you for a motion to approve the letter of support.
I make a motion for South Dakota Good and Healthy Community Grant Letter of Support, as Jerry Simon stated.
Motion by Shot and seconded to approve the letter of support. One question. So the grant, does it pay for 100%, or are we responsible for any portion?
We're not responsible for any of it, so not that I'm aware of.
Just installation, isn't it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, we would, I think,
maintenance.
We would, our help would be to install it once it comes in. So that's just part of, I think it helps you get more points towards the grant itself. So we're not responsible for dollar-wise, just to help install it.
And what about upkeep and maintenance once it's all?
All of ours. That's all be on us, yeah. Yeah, so.
And that would become what, part of the Parks Department then, or?
Yeah, yeah.
For discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Authorization to advertise for seasonal help.
You guys, if you look at that, that's pool manager, lifeguards, attendants, maintenance workers in the park and at the golf course. And Jeff usually hires 1 or 2 people to help with weed eating and a lot of the miscellaneous stuff around town. So, and if the other guys do come forward and need some help in electric or the telephone department, we will work them in as a separate advertisement. So,
Motion?
yeah, if you would.
Shot made a motion authorized to advertise for seasonal help, as Jerry Simon stated, for the departments for the city of Beresford, South Dakota.
Second.
Shot and seconded to approve authorization to advertise for seasonal help and for discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. No discussion, no informational items. Got anything? 2 travel requests. Is there a motion to approve the travel requests?
Boone makes a motion to pay the travel request.
Second.
Motion by Boone and seconded to approve the 2 listed travel requests. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Is there a motion to authorize payment of the bills?
Yeah, I'd like to pay the bills.
I'd like to second that.
Motion by Boone and seconded to authorize payment of the bills. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. No further business for council. Meeting adjourned.
They're adjourned right now. When is it for?
Well, our new gal we just hired, I was hoping to send her to a center reading workshop. It's just in Vermillion. It doesn't cost anything, so we'll just see the travel there. And it's next Friday. So, I was wondering about sending her down there.
She was a car?
No, she already lives south, so she would probably drive her own car.
Can we retro that and pay her?
Yeah, I'm sure we can. Is there any fees to do the class at all?
No.
So all we have to do is worry about paying her then.
Just do it now, and then she already was partway, a little bit south, so.
Are we advertising for parks currently now?
We are.
Have we had any hits?
How we do?
One? How long is that open?
Sometime, that job hired by the first meeting in April.
Okay.